I think it's going. And it should be going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going.
Hey guys, it's Rebelqueen.
I'll be on.
Depending on where you guys are at, it's freaking cold right now.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, we live in Texas, and apparently the Lone Star of the Lone Star State said, "You know what? It's been a little hot. It's been a little hot recently. What can we do? Let's do Texas weather roulette." Spun the wheel of Texas weather roulette. Apparently, it landed on freeze your asses off day.
Yeah, and yesterday it was really bad. Like 35 had a massive. I think when it came down to total number, it was like 135 car wreck.
Yeah, so that was a thing. And then supposedly, I think it's tomorrow or Sunday, it's supposed to snow. So, snow in Texas is not normal, people. We
Yeah,
swear. We
yeah,
don't get snow.
yeah, we normally get hail and sleet.
Yeah. Yeah, or, Texas just goes, "You know what? I know it's winter, but let's make it 80 degrees. Let's make it an 80-degree day. Let's make it a 90-degree day. Let's make it 40. It's never snow. We get close, but we never get to the point."
Yeah, but anyway, kind of going to.
The reason for the video.
I know when we did the initial video for Wandavision, we said we probably weren't going to do another video for this series until the series concluded, and then we were going to do our double video for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. But considering how this series has actually kind of played out so far, we kind of went, you know what? Let's do a midpoint video.
Yeah, sure. Let's do a midpoint because, and we know that we're a bit late for, quote, midpoint, but to be fair, last week was chaotic for several reasons. Anyway,
yeah.
So,
lots of personal reasons, stuff that we're not going to go into.
Yeah, so, yes, so,
Also kind of
midpoint.
but also with how the episodes kind of lined up. Because remember how when we were talking about this stuff, remember how I said the one episode that I was also kind of looking forward to from the trailers was when they dressed up in these costumes.
The Halloween episode, which we got today, at which point I have to point out. So, I didn't realize it when we did the last video, but as it started going on, I started to realize, okay, so each episode is in a different decade of sitcoms. Your cat wants to be seen.
Well, technically, Beauty is more my mom's cat.
Well, the cat desires to be seen. Anyway, the episode. So each episode is a different decade of sitcoms, and so the first one was the 50s, second one was the 60s, third was the 70s, fourth was what the hell's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Fifth one was the 80s, and then this week was supposed to be the 90s. But yeah. I think it kind of went into the 2000s a little bit.
A little, because honestly, with that opening, I'm kind of like going, okay, I know pretty much the series that was supposed to be based off of.
Yeah, that series, it was Malcolm in the Middle.
Yeah, and Malcolm in the Middle pretty much spanned from 90s to early 2000s.
Here's the thing, I actually looked it up. It started in 2000, on July of 2000. So, but it was such a thing that you were like, it was you remember it as late 90s. So it kind of works.
Yeah, with how the Malcolm in the Middle series was. So
yeah. So it was, they started off with a Malcolm in the Middle homage for the current episode. I think the one for was it the 70s or 80s? I think it was the 80s. It was the one for the 80s. So episode 5 did a Family Ties theme.
Yeah, because I saw that whole doing the painting portrait thing, and I'm like,
I know this one.
Yeah, it's like honestly, I saw that, I'm like, oh my god, that's family, blah, blah. I screwed up the name a bit, but I'm like, when I first saw that
To be
opening,
fair,
I'm
it was
like,
the '80s. There's a shit ton of sitcoms with the word family in it.
yeah, it's like, I saw that painting thing, and I'm like, oh my god, that's family, blah, blah, blah. Like, I screwed up the name a bit, but it's like, I was right on the money thing, but I was
Yeah.
like, but it was
So it
hilarious.
was. So I guess we start off with 3, since we've already technically talked about 2 and 1.
Yeah, but it was still real. And as we kind of saw, they have continued, as we kind of saw, and as we were kind of hoping, they have continued on doing that whole little. Oh, they're doing that little infomercial bit halfway
I
in.
didn't understand this week's one. I didn't get the reference.
Yo magic, yeah, that was a little. Oh, the yo rings, I think, from Doctor Strange.
Oh, that might be it. Yeah, that could be it. Although it was weird to have a commercial where a kid died because he couldn't open a cup of yogurt.
Well, because remember, for the sling rings, basically they pretty much forced him into that thing. It was like, if you can't do it,
True, very true. So yeah, it could be that. Yeah, most of them have been actually. Most of them have been like Hydra themed so
I
far. I think like the second, the third, and the fifth were kind of Hydra themed.
yeah, I know they've either been Hydra themed or like with those paper towels Lagos.
Lot and there is a point to it. Like they kind of tie into whatever the thing that's going on for that part of the series is. So it's part of it is her history, like with Hydra. Others is her like the Lagos thing. That's the name of the town where she screwed up in Civil War.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's things that she wishes could happen or to happen that kind of ended up becoming the theme of it. So it's tied to different things. Episode 4 was, as I said, the episodes were in order of what was going on, and episode 4 was the behind the scenes of what's going on outside of this town, and we find out that, hey, this town is kind of stuck in a bubble of magic and TV land.
yeah,
Like TV land just said, you know what? We've been a channel for too long. It's time we make our own town.
yeah. But at the same time, I'm kind of going, well,
So
this
they
is
choose a town in Jersey.
yeah. But at the same time, I'm kind of going, well, this is really kind of interesting to me. Is as we kind of spoke beforehand, um, with the fact that they're with what they're doing with her. This is really kind of interesting with how they're taking her character because, like I spoke before with in the comics, she's like uh, next to Jean Grey, she's like one of the more powerful mutants. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting that they're actually kind of taking it to the next level, and even she's not sure how she's doing it. So
And we'll get some mutants a bit later.
yeah, so
Don't think we did not notice that. It's a little hard not to notice when the internet blows up about it.
yeah, so it's like it's kind of interesting to the fact that that maybe this is kind of like going to be Marvel's segue into the way that they might actually bring in mutants as
Yeah,
because as we are kind of formulating like maybe the Hydra experiments on her and her brother not
right.
were only like a segue that actually activated their powers because
Mm-hmm.
as we have kind of seen in some of the X-Men universe, like sometimes the mutants were part of experiments that oh they thought the experiments gave them their powers, but in all actuality it only activated their powers
Yeah.
or maybe heightened their abilities. Cough weapon X.
Yeah. That that's gonna be well. Okay, I will bring up Weapon X there's another thing that I discovered that might tie to said Weapon X, but that's more in the Falcon and Winter Soldier series.
Which we'll actually discuss that thing when it comes into that play.
When it gets to that point. So, but sorry, I'm looking up something that has been annoying me for a bit, and I'm just trying to figure out, okay, who. It is Marvel related, but it has nothing to do with this. Anyway,
Oh, and actually, it's kind of interesting with how they've actually have used some of these characters, because it's like it was such like when they were doing like the what's been going on episode, it was kind of interesting to see that they brought back Darcy. So like that was fun.
That was fun. Darcy in the last episode, in the most recent episode, there's a scene where I'm just like that's actually just hilarious. What the hell are you going to do, Darcy?
And also another interesting thing is also with Rambo. It took me until actually the guy's like, I know your past history with Carol Danvers.
It took her longer than it took me because everyone was talking about it online. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's who that is. And then they get to the fourth episode. So when it was behind the scenes of what's going on, and we actually see apparently Rambo. She was one of the ones that got what's the in-universe word for it? Blipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, blipped. So many
I know,
but it's a weird name for a major event.
I know, but it took me until he said, I know your past history with Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, and I went, wait a minute.
Yeah, no, it didn't. When they're saying your mother, and all of a sudden they show the picture, I'm like, oh yeah, so yeah, we're correct. She is that little girl.
I know, but it's like because of the whole age differences and stuff, and then even in that old picture of her mom, it took me a moment until hearing that past history with her. It took me a moment to go, oh.
Yeah. So we see some of the things that happen when people return from the blip outside of a random.
Rambo
outside of a random. Probably one of the weirdest moments in this marching band's history at Peters High School.
Yeah, but for those of you from just hearing me, that Rambo is actually the little girl from Captain Marvel. She's actually her daughter, Carol's daughter's old friend.
Daughter of Carol's old friend.
Old friend. Sorry, I know. I got. Bleh.
Yeah. So.
Mouth jumbled.
Also, apparently, her mother starred Sword.
Yeah.
That's interesting little tidbit, which makes me question. Okay, what the fuck are you doing, Fury? Fury, why are you on a spaceship right now if you had nothing to do with swords?
Yeah, but
anyway, so we find out that she's part of Sword, and we find out that
we
kind of get some tidbits on what's going on. Like we said, they bring back Darcy, who is a bit more of the comic relief, as expected of her.
And the FBI agent who was actually trying to help with this situation is actually the FBI agent from Ant-Man.
Yeah, Agent Wu, I think is his name. I can't remember his name.
That's either his actual name or his agent name. I can't remember myself at this point either.
Yeah, that sounds like the name I've been seeing, but I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, he's the FBI agent, and so Rambo, him, and Darcy kind of form this weird little mini team inside this sword base that has just kind of opened up outside of this anomaly that they start calling the Hex.
Yeah, because they're actually the ones who are trying to figure out what is actually Wanda's true purpose here, or like how she
what's going on, why is she doing this, and Why?
How
And
she actually did all this and what is actually going on and how can we bring this to a safe conclusion.
yeah,
While the head guy who actually took control of
took
Sword,
over after her mom died.
yeah, and because Rambo was blipped.
She was blipped, and 2 years after she blipped, her mom died of cancer that came back, and then so she comes back 3 years later, finding out that her mom's been dead for 3 years and she's been gone for 5.
Yeah, and then this guy took over and he's being just a total, as we see in the show, he's just being a total dick about everything.
He's being a government stereotype agent.
Yeah, because like I said, when Rambo is pretty much trying to be understanding and trying to go, Wanda, we're trying to be friendly here. Just tell us what's going on here and we can resolve this peacefully.
Yeah,
Because when
he brings in people with guns and says and threats and
and
does not
even
go well.
and if you've been watching, he even attached a missile to an 80s drone that they sent into the to the that they sent in to try and talk to Wanda during the one episode, and
Yeah.
did not
So
well.
okay, so also some people are going that this might be how Rambo gets her powers because she ends up getting superpowers in the comics. So some people are going maybe this is how she gets her powers.
Good theory.
Yeah. Anyway, so far, so the third one was in the 70s and was basically Wanda and Vision dealing with the pregnancy and the weird 70s sitcom style way of dealing with that. And entirely involving what which entirely included Wanda going into labor and Vision going at super speed going to fetch the doctor who was trying to go on vacation but his car broke down. He goes to get the doctor and say, "Doctor, the babies are coming," and the doctor's like, "I just saw you yesterday. There's no way the babies are coming."
Unless they were premature.
Yeah. So he there's this whole thing where she ends up giving birth to twins, Billy and Tommy. We'll get into them later. They're questionable conception. But no, they the entire episode is just 70s
Basically that,
sitcom.
and then
Yeah.
along with Rambo kind of getting a little
Rambo kind of coming out of the mind control or whatever's going on in that town.
And then Wanda, once she kind of realizes what's going on, pretty much blasting her out of the whole
Expels
thing.
her. Yes. Yes, basically just says, "Nope, you're not here anymore. Bye. My town." So, meantime, this is all going on. So the fourth episode basically kind of starts up 3 weeks before the show starts, and then it kind of skips to a little bit around when the show starts, but on the outside. So the entire fourth episode is just the first 3 episodes, but on the outside of this town.
Yeah.
And
kind
find
of
out, okay, what's going on here.
here.
The fifth episode is as we said, in the 80s, and
Basically Wanda and Vision getting used to the kids and
yeah,
basically fast aging.
yeah,
And they're 5 years old, and then
yeah. The kids have superpowers. At first, they only show those superpowers in the form of, "We want to be older now. Let's be older now."
yeah, because they find a puppy, they want the puppy, but Wanda and Vision are like,
When you're 10, you're old enough to take care of a puppy. And they look at each other, go, "Let's do this," and become 10 years old.
yeah,
Like, and no, we're not talking about two babies just look at each other, go, "Let's do this." We mean they aged up to age of 5, and then they aged up to 10. The kicker, and then Agnes, who, by God, does she have like a skeleton key or something to that house?
well, considering it's going like a sitcom series, you know how basically
People just magically show up. Yeah, I know. I think that's the reason why some people are going, maybe she's the other person involved with this whole thing, is she's actually kind of partially behind this whole situation. I'm just like,
got cleared up in today's episode.
yeah. But yeah, so or did it didn't. It's a little complicated, honestly. So there is a chance that it was and it wasn't. I don't know. We'll find out in, I think there's 3 episodes of 3 weeks. Um but so she comes in while they're babies and she's like, "Okay, I'll be the babysitter." It feels like by the time they turned 5, well, it looks like by the time they turned 5, she has been so exhausted as the babysitter. She's now like through like half a bottle of wine. She's just on the counter going, "They grow up so fast," and you're just like, "You're drunk out of your head, aren't you?"
Yeah, and then basically like towards the whole end of this whole ordeal, Vision is kind of starting to realize something is not right here.
Yeah, something's off.
Because like they're about to start fighting, and Vision is like, "Wanda, you can tell me what is going on, and like, are you doing this?" And she's like, "I honestly do not know. I'm not doing anything."
And that kind of leads to the comics and going, "Okay, this is not entirely her. There is something else behind this besides just her."
And that's when the doorbell rings. It's like, "I did not do that."
Yeah, and then we get what could technically be our first mutant, I guess. It's hard to explain. It's hard to tell how to count this. But Pietro shows up, Quicksilver, and it's not the MCU Quicksilver, it's the X-Men movie Quicksilver. And that's the cliffhanger. And to be fair, if you're wondering, this is in universe, it's still the same. It's still the same guy, so they just recast him outside of the movie. No, even inside the universe, they say that he got recast.
Yeah, because Darcy's watching all this from outside the thing, and she's going, "She recasted.
She recast Pietro," and you're just like, well, she chose a good one, at least.
And that's what.
How does this work?
And that's what leads to today's episode, and everything. And
today's episode was, the Halloween thing. They're all dressed up, and she comes down, and she's in the classic Scarlet Witch costume the entire time. Vision for most of it is in that Vision costume that they call a masked wrestler. That was a point of just going, okay, so that's how they explain what the fuck that is.
It was a good way to go about it, I have to admit.
Yeah, and it's the entire thing is basically this entire 6th episode is Vision doing more investigating, but the other half is Wanda and Pietro taking the kids out and him kind of punching holes into this reality that's been created.
Yeah, because even he's kind of going, he's going like, "Where'd all the kids come from?" Da 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 da. And he's like,
last thing I remember, I got shot. I got shot in some random street. Now I'm here, and I have a different face.
And he's like, "How'd you do it?" It's like, "Wanda, I'm your brother." It's like, you can't hide things from me.
Yeah. Also, I have to point out that Quicksilver also gets his classic costume.
Yeah.
The hair threw me off because I'm like, does he actually have that hair in the comic? So for like 5 minutes of the episode, I'm Google searching old classic pictures of Quicksilver, trying to just to look at the hair.
I think it might have been like in one of the old cartoons or something.
It's a combination of both. It's the old cartoon plus some of the older comics. He does kind of have that kind of wind-backed hair, and that looks like he just came out of a wind tunnel. So it is a combination of both. Um, so
And he's just like, Wanda, I'm your brother. You really can't hide things from me.
yeah, and it's meantime, Rambo, Darcy, and let's just continue with Agent Wu. The three of them kind of get kicked out of the sword group.
Because like I said before, they're trying to find a way to bring this to a peaceful conclusion because of everything, while the other guy, after they pretty much managed to come back in, Darcy has hacked into his computer files, and he's got some kind of ulterior motive going on.
And it's focused on Vision. That's the thing. It's focused on Vision over all the others. Because the one that his computers were set to target was Vision.
Yeah, and it's like, despite the fact that in Vision's living will, he didn't want to be a weapon.
Right. So it's a question of what did Darcy find in the computer files? This operation, what was it? Contact?
We're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's some operation. But
because that's probably
the part I was mentioning about Darcy just going, "What the hell?" Where I just went, "Darcy, what the hell are you going to do here?" They're getting led out by sword agents, and then Wu and Rambo start beating up the agents, and Darcy's just kind of standing there, and you're like, "Yeah, Darcy, what are you going to do in this part?"
Unfortunately, she doesn't have her taser.
Last we see of Rambo and Wu for the next few episodes is apparently Rambo has a contact that can get them get her back into the anomaly. We don't know who the contact is. I was hoping that would be the cliffhanger for this episode. It was not.
Instead, it was Wanda pretty much enlarging the hex because Vision
got out and was dying.
Yeah.
So.
But even Darcy was kind of saying, Rambo, you shouldn't go back in because your blood work, there's anomalies and shit, which, if, like you said, apparently she goes back in, there is a good chance she might get abilities and stuff.
Yeah. So, a lot of the sword agents got turned into circus folk. the sword base got turned into a circus, and you're just kind of like, okay, well, that just leaves, I think, 2 agents and the dick. So Darcy got sucked in, so who knows how that's going to go.
Well, considering a lot of the stuff she's already been exposed to because of Thor and stuff, she might be a little safer than most.
Yeah. So the cliffhanger was that the hex got bigger. We don't know who. We don't have any kind of hint at who the Rambo's contact is. A part of me, I think the obvious one is not the one that I think they're going to go with. I think the obvious one would be like Captain Marvel, but I don't think that's the one they'll go with. I think it might end up being Doctor Strange. Would be kind of cool, but
it could be him, considering as we know, Wanda is going to be part of his sequel. So
yeah, so it could be the good Doctor, or it could be Wong. Wong just said, "Go, Doctor Strange. I have an error to run."
It could be any members of the whole
sorcerer side of things. Yeah, it could be any of them. There's a better chance as Doctor Strange dealing with it because I don't know how I don't know how much Wong gets out because there have been a few scenes in some of the movies where he basically just sends Doctor Strange out on errands. Like when in Infinity War where he basically just sends Doctor Strange out to get them lunch, and Doctor Strange has to make sure he has the sandwich order right. so yeah, Sorcerer Supreme is the errand boy.
Well, considering Doctor Strange is actually more familiar with everything going on than Wong would be.
Yeah.
It makes a
and
lot.
It's also New York, so he's not too far from places he knows.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It kind of makes more sense.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it does. Although it brings up questions. Does he go out with the full wizard outfit, sorcerer outfit on, or does he use magic to disguise it as something else? Because you have to wonder what the people at that deli are thinking if he comes in with that blue outfit and the gloves and everything.
That is a good question. But yeah, no, it's like well, yeah, her contact could considering the situation, I would say her contact more than likely is either Wong or Doctor Strange because leading up into these last few episodes, since we do know for sure that Wanda is going to be part of Doctor Strange's sequel movie.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Wong or Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I think it's more Doctor Strange probably. He's one of the few that makes sense to being able to get her into some weird place.
Yeah. With little to no issues.
Yeah. All in all, this has been interesting. This is setting up things that I'm questioning. Okay, is this how they're handling this, specifically involving the X-Men and some of the Fox, some of the things they got from Fox, because of the mouse said, you know what, we want our X-Men Fantastic Four back.
Yeah.
We'll buy out this. Mickey came in to Fox to the Fox network and just said, "Oh, I want my Marvel back."
But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be, these last few episodes are definitely going to be interesting and this whole series as a whole has just really kind of set the tone. So
yeah,
proving that they can do something more than just the movies. I mean, yeah, we know they have been able to do just more than the movies, as we've seen with their animated series.
Yeah.
But for the live action stuff, it has just ascertain the fact that they can do more than just the movies and the animated series. So
yeah, but also I do have to point out that this is the first Marvel thing we've had in like a year because of situations. So we're also kind of starving for Marvel content. Just a wee bit.
Well,
just a wee bit.
Yeah. Well, live action Marvel content. I mean, we've had the animated stuff.
Well, live action Marvel content. We're starving a wee bit for live action Marvel content.
Yeah.
But so far this has been pretty good.
Because
I think people would be more upset if we were starved of Marvel content and it wasn't good. So it's actually been pretty good.
Black Widow has never been released yet, has it?
No, it's supposed to come out this summer, and Disney is saying that they're not going to release it for streaming because they want it in the theaters, but who knows how long that will last right now.
Yeah.
The current, but yeah, so far, this has been pretty good. This is interesting, and there are and if Falcon and Winter Soldier is anything close to this good, I'm looking forward to it, especially because that looks more buddy cop than anything else, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be magical.
Yeah, I mean, this really does set the, like I said, this really does set the tone. So, Falcon and Winter Soldier will, I mean, granted, this series does kind of have more the family drama stuff going on with the little bit of the Marvel tension going on. So
Yeah.
and from like you said with Falcon and Winter Soldier, that'll, from what we've seen so far, the trailers, that one is going to definitely have more of the, so far from what we know, more of the buddy cop situation. Just from what we've seen of the trailers so far and what we know of Falcon and Winter Soldier's attitudes. So
yeah, so it's
especially considering what happened at the end of Infinity War. So
yeah, so all in all, these next 3 weeks are going to be interesting, and I'm really curious to know how this is all going to end up and where this is going, because the comics had this in the comics, this situation in the Earth Prime of this situation, it is kind of there are several magical beings that that are responsible for this, and you're wondering, okay, are they going with this?
I know, because
and actually, one of those magical beings, now that I think about it, is connected to the thing that was annoying me that I looked up earlier. So if he shows up, then that answers my question for the thing I looked up earlier.
I know, because kind of like I said when we first did our discussion on WandaVision, I was kind of like going, how exactly are they kind of going to go with this? Because remember, I did kind of bring up that in the, at least on one of the one of the things with the whole Wanda and her powers thing, they did kind of do this in the comics, and I'm kind of and so far with how they've kind of gone with this, at least they've kind of somewhat gone in that direction a little bit with how they've played this, but they've still kind of made it their own going in this whole situation. So I'm still kind of going.
Right.
So I'm still kind of going, how exactly are they going to play this out totally? So
right.
So still in these next 3 weeks, how exactly are they going to finish this off? Like,
yeah. But
honestly, Wanda herself still kind of knows something isn't right here. So
she's also like, how did I do this?
yeah, and every time she sees, because in these last couple episodes, she does
when her emotions get really high, or she's really confused about something, then she sees the people for what they kind of look like.
Yeah, like
or at least Vision and Quicksilver.
Yes, and she's like, she does get like, no, and then so she does know something is wrong.
Right.
Because even she herself knows that this isn't right, and she does kind of like, but and she herself knows that she doesn't know like how she has done all this.
Yeah. So
she knows something isn't right.
Right. So these next 3 episodes are going to be interesting. They set up what they set up some interesting situations that I'm going, okay, how's this going to play out? But all in all, it's going pretty well. It's going pretty well, and I'm looking forward to these next 3 weeks, and then the dry period of 2 weeks afterwards until Falcon and Winter Soldier. So
and then Loki.
Yeah, that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Very, because that brings another weird section of the Marvel universe into the MCU.
Yeah, but Loki's gonna be a lot shorter than these two.
Yeah, I think Loki is supposed to be 6 episodes.
Yeah.
So, but I think we covered everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once these next 3 weeks go by, we'll go, okay.
We'll do a video that will basically be, it'll be covering the last 3 episodes, but it'll basically be our thoughts on the entire series in general.
Yeah, because like I said, we've kind of been going so far with how things have been going. We've kind of been going like, oh my god, and like I said, we've kind of been, well, based on what we know of the comics and these characters, we've kind of been going like,
Yeah. And, there have been a few times the internet has shat its pants. Don't deny it. You know it's happened.
Yeah, and also it's kind of funny. On a talk show that, on like one of the morning shows, the girl who plays Darcy, she was on it, and apparently Marvel, trying to keep everything as close to under wraps as possible, does not really let them have like all their scripts at once. So that
they learned from Tom Holland.
Yeah, so
Leave it to Spider-Man to have them go, no, we're not giving you all the script at once.
So basically, she even told him like, oh no, I only get like maybe one, two scripts in advance, and even then I have to sign an NDA.
Yeah.
So when she was talking with them, she could honestly say like, I can honestly tell you guys, I'm not lying. I do not know anything in advance about what's going on in the series, what's coming up in the series.
Yeah. But yeah, as we said, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I think we'll end this video here at 41 minutes.
Well, there's a lot to talk about in the show.
True.
So, this is Rebelqueen.
Albion.
So, remember, guys, wear the face mask, and if you're here in Texas with us, be careful out on the roads. It's icy and dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Take one step outside, and actually, I'm a little surprised she's not in her cocoon form right now.
It's pretty warm in my room right now, and I'm on my bed and surrounded by blankets, actually.
Okay, so you're in semi-cocoon.
Yeah, but it's like step outside, and it's like, oh, dear Lord.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so careful out there and have a great, wonderful time.
And everybody have a happy Valentine's Day. Again, if you're here in Texas, sorry about the weather.
Valentine's Day is going to be a cold one this year.
Yeah. I hope you guys managed to get anything you were going to get for your loved ones in advance.
Yeah. Anyway, bye.
Bye.